Got a full house tonight. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and it is 6:32, and I'm going to ask for our Madam City Clerk if she can call roll.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Rochelle Arizmendi.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Denise Del Mar.
Here.
Councilmember John Harabedian.
Yep.
Councilmember Jean Goss.
Here.
And Councilmember John Capocha is absent today.
Thank you. And if we can all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, Councilmember Jean Goss will lead us.
Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you can please remain standing.
By way of an invocation tonight, since we have my friends from Sierra Madre Little League here, especially our 2017 District 17 champions here with us tonight. You betcha. I would like to share a poem that I stole from the Baseballism website, just to keep things in that spirit. And it's called The Baseball Blessing. May you always find your arm slot. May all your swings be pure. Through every bruise and bad hop, I hope that you endure. May your changeup find the strike zone. May your blooper find a hole. Let all your dreams hit down the line. Stay just inside the pole. May the wind blow out while you're at bat. This is my wish for you. And if you're ever in a jam, I hope that you turn too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Goss. I think I might have to get an interpreter for all of that. I don't know what half of that means, but it sounds like you really resonated with folks in the room, so thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Great. Any opposed? Okay, and it passes unanimously. And we're going to move to mayor and city council reports. And whoever would like to start, feel free to jump in.
I will start. I have no report.
Okay, thank you.
Just an itsy-bitsy report as liaison to the Community Services Commission. The Community Services Commission just elected a new chair. His name is Andy Ben Cosme. He's been on the commission for a while. I just wanted to acknowledge him and congratulate him for that.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. Before I report on what I was going to report, I don't know if everyone is aware of the fire that we had up here in our hillside. As of about 10 minutes ago, we understand it's fully contained, and we're excited about that. We know that we really had numerous services from around the area really assist with that. And I don't know if City Manager, if there's anything that you want to add on to my report on that issue?
No, you nailed it, Mayor. It's fully contained. We'll have 2 to 3 hours of putting out hotspots, and we've got 3 investigators on scene to determine origin. We hope to know by this evening.
Great, thank you. And I know at one point we had a volunteer evacuation, but at this point there's nothing more to that piece, and we're happy to hear that it's fully contained.
And thank you to our neighboring agencies, Pasadena, Arcadia, Monrovia, who came out to help support us.
Absolutely. Thank you. My report actually is something that was shared with me through many folks in the community, and typically we have this as a presentation, but I'm just going to include it into my report. I was really moved to tears, I think, when I read this story, and I actually don't even know the full story, so I'm going to ask some of those that were touched by this incident if they can come up and share it. But we are really humbled and honored to honor a non-resident, actually somebody that services our community, and it is a UPS driver. Her name is Rachel Gonzalez-Child. She is in a neighboring community, but the reason we want to recognize her tonight is for an incident that happened this past week where she was in town doing her delivery and working and doing what she needed to do for her job, where she came across a family in town where a little girl at 5 years old, who is here tonight, started choking on a piece of candy. And Mom was there to try and help and did the Heimlich maneuver and was really challenged by it. And luckily for Rachel, or for the family, Rachel came into their path and assisted with that Heimlich and was able to save our little Sophia from choking. And it's just really a blessing to hear these stories in a time and age when there's so many tragedies and so many incidences where people aren't caring about each other. And this really was just a touch of humanity and a person caring for another person. And I'm just really honored to have the time to recognize Rachel Gonzalez Childs. And if she can come up to the front, and I'm going to have the Ayala family come up to the front too and maybe share a few words. I also just wanted to share how hard it was to find Rachel. There were many people in the community that were looking for her, friends and families of the Ayalas. I even went as high as the president of the Western United States because that's the only contact number that I had. But you know, I'm glad that we did that because I think from the top down, I know they're extremely proud of the work that you do, not just for them as a company, but representing the organization as you did. So this recognition states that the city of Sierra Madre recognizes Rachel Gonzalez Childs, whereas Sophia Ayala's life was in peril and immediate action was needed, and whereas Rachel Gonzalez assessed the situation and took the necessary steps needed to perform the Heimlich maneuver. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre does hereby commend with appreciation Rachel Gonzalez for preserving the life of Sophia Ayala. Presented this 25th day of July 2017 from Sierra Madre City Council, Mayor Rachel Arizmendi, Mayor Pro Tem Denise Del Mar, Council members John Capocha, Jean Goss, and John Harabedian. You just a minute to share.
I just wanted to thank Rachel for, just extending herself that day. We try to prepare for these things. I guess there's going to be some CPR classes here in town. So the first class, I'm going to have it named after you, hopefully. My family, like I said, once again appreciates it. My wife, I don't even know what to say. Right? I had it all planned out like a wedding speech, and now, I just forgot everything. I'm a great speaker and just forgot everything right now. But thank you so much. You're a blessing to our family, and definitely an asset to not only our community, but also your community and the surrounding areas. And thank you so, so much.
I just wanted to say one thing. I rarely get to come to this city, and I love Sierra Madre. I get so happy when they let me come to this town because you all are so nice. I don't know what is in the water, but you guys are so nice. Right? That's true. That's it. That's what it is. But I would have done it for anybody. I didn't even tell anybody a word of what happened. And I guess that's why it was so hard for you guys to find me. But, thank you. This was way too much.
Thank you so much.
And Rachel, this is really no joke, but if you can take a UPS package, I really do have one. But it's okay. I'll go officially, and I'll do it the right way. My husband actually gave it to me right before I came here.
I would be
Thank
happy
you.
to drop it off.
Would you? She got the day off today, so we're really excited to have her here. Thank you so much for joining us today. And come anytime. And one last piece in my report, which I don't have our front page of our Mountain View News, but I know our Girls Little League also. Yes? Does anyone know?
The softball, I don't know.
Since it was in the front page of the Mountain View News.
Little League.
Oh, it is Little League. Okay, great. So then we'll add that in.
Might have been something about softball. I didn't catch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna run outside. Can anyone run outside really quickly? There's a Mountain View News sitting right outside. There's one.
That's the Little League. Last week it was a softball.
It's a softball. Okay, so we actually did invite the softball team out, and unfortunately we're not able to come. So just really quickly, I wanted to highlight their win also.
Yeah,
It's
it was-
Little
Oh, this
League.
one's Little. Okay, so the softball team was also recognized too, and hopefully at some point in September we can bring them back.
Yeah.
So with that, I will move into public comment, and this is the opportunity to speak on any item that is not on the agenda. And I do know we have some folks that are here regarding a water bill, or the water bill from this last billing cycle. So if there are many folks, I just wanted to note that we are definitely well aware of the issue. I do know our city manager and our public works are going to continue to looking into it, but since you are here, I want to give you the opportunity to speak if you would like to share your concerns on this item since it's not on the agenda.
My name is Mary Lou Kopka, and I live in Sierra Madre on Windwood Lane, and we're here to object to the atrocious water bills that we have. We have some people who got $1,000 water bill, and the billing, we were told that only half of the city is being charged this bill. The people on the other side of Baldwin are not counted in this billing period, because there's two sets of billing periods. Our billing period runs into the middle of June, and theirs runs at an entirely different time. And so I'm saying this is completely unfair, and that if you take this to a court of law, you will not win where one half the city pays extra and the other half doesn't pay this bill. Secondly, the amount of the extra that was put on if you run over is atrocious. It's double what it was last year. And there is no drought in California. I know that we don't have a lot of water here. Well, then go buy it somewhere else. Don't make us pay for something that, I mean, you must be pulling in tons of money for this. It's just unconscionable.
Thank you.
And I hope that you will put it on the agenda and quit telling everybody it's under consideration. We want something done.
I'm her husband, Ernie Kopka. The bill, the reason for the high bill is a penalty, okay? My personal penalty was $289, so my bill was $300 more than what it would be without a penalty. Why do we have the penalty? There's two things. Our assigned target is winter. This bill, goes till the middle of June. How many of you feel that it's still winter in California in June? Why do we have a winter target for June? Pasadena, winter for Pasadena is November, December, January, February, March. Arcadia includes April in winter. And ours goes, our side, the east, the east side of Baldwin winter goes till the middle of June. The west side of Baldwin goes till the middle of May. So in other words, if they got this bill, they would have been on their summer target. And if I got my summer target, I would be, I believe it was 16 units below target. So I got this penalty because I'm on a winter target. That goes till the middle of June. That's ridiculous. Secondly, I think my wife pointed out, the penalty then is for $10.72 or something for every unit above the winter target that we didn't make, which is double what it was a year ago. This was imposed in July of 2016. I think that that should have been, revoked, repealed, or to complete. Yeah, okay. Pasadena and Arcadia have no penalties anymore, and yet we've got the maximum penalty of $10.72 for every unit that we exceeded our winter target for a bill that came in June. It's not right. I mean, something really needs to be done. My solutions, possible solutions are to either get rid of the penalty or roll it back to what it was before we were, when this penalty of $10 was imposed, it was in the height of the drought. I mean, things were at its peak, okay? But that's changed. So I think that penalty amount should change, go away completely, or revert back to the pre-height of drought amount.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We have a 3-minute limit.
Sierra Madre says, they have to break this down 6 months and 6 months, which I don't know if they have to. But if they do, I feel that we should roll it back and have our period not end winter in the middle of June, roll it back 2 months and end in the middle of April.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Although this item is not on the agenda, one thing I do want to highlight is, and again, I appreciate you coming in today because we were notified earlier throughout the day that there were numerous calls and numerous communications into City Hall about this issue. So, again, our staff is looking into this. I also want to highlight that we are looking at restructuring the water billing, and I'm going to ask Mr. City Manager, do you remember when that's supposed to be on the agenda?
So we're moving forward with a water rate study. We're in data collection right now, and we'll bring it back later this year. We don't have an exact date yet. I would like to say for everyone who's speaking tonight, if we give your information to Chris Cimino, who's our Public Works Director, we will contact everyone tomorrow, and I will meet with you to go through this.
Okay, thank you. There's another piece that I wanted to add, but we do recognize the fact that if there is something additional we need to look into, we can agendize it at that point. But be assured that our director will be contacting you, and also that water study will be coming up in the next few months.
Can you point him out?
Yeah.
The handsome guy in the Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, it's everybody. So thank you so much. Okay, are there any other items on public comment that are not on the agenda?
Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Darlene with Lifeline for Pets. And before I start, first I'd like you to know that last month's featured dog, the Duke of Earl, is still available. So please consider adopting him. And now for tonight, Lifeline for Pets wants everyone to know that we are purring in kitten season. And we're bringing you tonight 3 super cuties that we are starting to bring over now. If you could, we have Ladybug, Hopper, and Cricket.
Oh my goodness.
And Andrea is their foster mom, and she's assisted by her neighbor Dee Dee. And if maybe you could turn around now. Are they on camera? Did they get on camera?
Scoot in.
There you go.
Move over this way a little bit. Yeah. And they're only about what? About
almost 3 months.
About 3 months old. And if anyone is interested in adopting, you can visit our website for adoption information and an application. You can turn around and show the audience now. We have a lot of adorable kittens and beautiful cats that need homes. So we can give you an application right now if you like, or you can go on our website and get one. They come already spayed and neutered and up to date with vaccines. current on all their health exams, and they are microchipped. Okay, so we
What a deal.
I'm sorry.
Said, what a deal.
What a deal! What a deal! We would
They
love
come already.
we would like at least 2 of them to be adopted together. That's the best way to do it, or all 3 would be nice. And
but then the
please,
third one's
we
left
passed out
alone
one of
if
those
we
little
get to.
flyers. If you're an Amazon shopper or Ralph's card, you can help
Thinking
us
3
by
little girls down
signing
there.
up for that.
One for each.
So, anything more we could say?
No, just if you just wanted to adopt one, it would be best if you already had another kitten or cat, because they are so used to being together that I think they probably really need to be with another
They're pretty
cat, whether it's
bonded.
one of their siblings or not.
This one, the black one, is Cricket. She's female. And this is Ladybug. And, oh, where's Hopper? He's in there. Oh.
What happened to Popper?
Hopper looks just like him. She has 1 gray spot on the top of her head, and Hopper is a male, and he has 2 gray spots on the top of his head. So please give us a call. Look at our website. You'll love it. Okay,
Thank you.
very much.
Catralia Angus, 405 North Cannon Avenue, regarding the library. Since I was a very little girl, I have always considered our
Mayor,
library.
Sorry to interrupt. We should move the public comment on the library to consent agenda, if that's okay. That's where the item is at.
Yeah.
So we do have that item on the agenda, and we are gonna, when we get to that part of the agenda, we'll invite you back up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, council members, city staff. My name is Steve Stafford. I wanted to let you know I went to court on the citation I got, and I actually won. I had a video, which I appreciate the city manager and risk management giving to me. It was played in court, and realistically, the judge found no violation, you know. And, you know, all of my friends saw the video, and they're going, what did they stop you for? One thing that came out, they went at a, apparently had to go to a high rate of speed to catch up to me, if that's what they were doing when they saw me. I changed lanes to get away from them because I knew at some point they were watching me, and I didn't want this to happen. I tried to avoid it. And, you know, they're speeding up a street, which, you know, kids are speeding up that street, and they've had complaints about that. I know that for a fact. Rancho and Rodeo. Those are the 2 streets that Arcadia police have targeted because of the speeding. You know, I get pulled over for what? I'm accused of what was it, weaving, and there was none of that on the video. I'm just here to let you know that I was found not guilty and the charges were dismissed. You know, it was a waste of time. That's one of the reasons, my situation is one of the reasons that about 2 weeks ago, an article appeared in the paper that they want to decriminalize traffic tickets because of this type of situation. What'll happen is you can have a mediator hear them right here, or have a public safety committee hear them just like a parking ticket. They won't have to go to court. You know, the officers can come to the meeting and testify to their part. These are not a situation that should be in the courts. They should be here at City Hall. They're costing too much money. The fines, nobody can pay them. This all brought up in an article in the LA Times 2 weeks ago. And a beautiful example is my situation, a waste of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments for items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to presentations. And I know our big crowd is here for our first item. So now that I have the paper, we're really excited to recognize our Sierra Madre Little League Division 17 champions. How many are you out there? Raise your hands. We're going to have you up here in just a second. Okay. But I do want to read a piece from the Mountain View News. Is since its inception in 1958, Sierra Madre 11-12's division has never won a District 17 championship. So you guys are historic. I want to congratulate you for your win. And it looks like the win came after 6 games against other teams in the district, comprising of San Marino, Pasadena, Southwest Central, Altadena, East Altadena, Arcadia National, and Arcadia American. And that sounds like quite a lineup, but you came out at the end as champions. So congratulations, and I'm going to have each one of you come up here. I'm actually going to ask, so whoever our first person is, you're actually going to have to stay standing longer. So Drew Beltran, you're our lucky winner.
Dr. Drew.
Come on up.
Doctor.
Okay. And then I'm going to have David. Lisa? Okay. Casey Skett. Come on up. Aiden Joel Lopez. Come on up.
AJ.
Nathan Savarese.
Where's Nate? Vacation.
Jack Stippa.
Where's Big Jack?
Another vacation. Mom's here. Come on up. Adam Amario. I know he's here. And we have Daniel Latschow.
Dan.
Woo. Justin Lee. Nolan Andarati. Everyone's on vacation. I'm jealous. Camden Andrews.
Yeah.
Evan Barber.
Barber time.
And Maximo Newhart.
Big man. Do it.
Sure.
You're gonna take a picture. You guys hold that, showing your name. Squeeze in.
So, Mayor, before we do that, the voters have a gift for City Council.
Wow.
And there's 2 gifts. The first gift is a hat that was actually worn by the team.
City Treasurer Mario, wearing another hat.
So we have 2 gifts for City Council, and the first one is an authentic Sierra Madre championship hat that was worn by the team, and the second gift is a replica of the pin that we received upon winning the district. So yeah.
Can I wear a hat?
So.
Okay. Thank you. Can I bend the bill, or is that not cool anymore?
So, and Mayor, if I could just say one quick thing, and the team would like to quickly recognize the coaches, and one of our coaches is a couple of our coaches are here. Ben Olivatis. And his son Robert Olivatis, who is a former All-Star player.
What size do you have? Will this fit? Try it.
And then finally a very quick story, and it meant a lot to the team. I think for every game, or most of the games anyway, Councilmember Goss was at the game cheering the team on. And very quickly at the championship game, the game's being played, and it's very intense and a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. And there was a dispute over a rule interpretation about the other team's substitutions. as I went out to talk to the umpire, we chatted a bit, and the conversation went on and on. The umpires basically said, no, admonished me, go back to the dugout. On my way back to the dugout, I looked into the crowd, and there was a person standing, and it was Councilmember Goss with his cell phone, showing me the part of the rules that we were arguing. Little League rules require that coaches and managers are not allowed to talk to fans. So I was admonished again, but but anyway,
if you had been able to see it.
Yeah, yes. The players and the coaches, truly, thank you. Appreciate that.
Congratulations again. We're so proud of you guys.
Madam Mayor, could I comment real quick?
Please.
I'd just like to make a quick comment about this.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Obviously, obviously, this is really a unique group of kids, and as I mentioned in the last council meeting, we, those of us who've been involved in Little League, and a lot of us here in town have at one time or another, have always kind of envied those larger leagues that have so many more kids to choose from. It's a numbers game, and to be able to put together 12 kids that are really competitive at a high level is just a real stretch for this city, and it hasn't been done since 1958. So these kids are really, truly special. But in and of themselves, these boys couldn't have done this. They had great coaching. And I watched this. I watched the first base coach, the third base coach. They had Coach Ben Olivares throwing batting practice and at practices with him. Vince Stipa, but manager Micah Mario, just fabulous job of keeping an even keel, managing everything. Just so impressed with how he did this. It's probably the best job of managing I've ever seen at Little League. So congratulations to every one of you. It's an absolute joy to be there.
Hear, hear.
Great, thank you. Congratulations, boys. All right, the next item for presentation is a recognition of our 10-year anniversary of the Sierra Madre Paramedic Program. I actually see some folks in the room. I thought you would be up on the hill, so I'm glad that you were able to make it down. I don't want to read all of this, but I think it's important to share some of the highlights of our paramedic program. But it was on June 1st when we celebrated our 10th year anniversary for the paramedic program. Since 1971, the Sierra Madre Fire Department has provided basic life support services to the residents and visitors of Sierra Madre, and the basic scope did include general first aid, CPR, oxygen administration, and limited defibrillation. However, seeing a need for advanced medical care, current Fire Chief Stephen Heidorf initiated a medical program that would provide paramedic services to the community. With the assistance of paramedic coordinator Sabrina Soma, the department successfully applied for and received accreditation from the LA County Department of Health Services. So for 10 years, the program has allowed the fire department personnel to deliver advanced life support medical treatment in the field during emergency calls for service. 2 part-time paramedics licensed through the state of California and accredited with the Los Angeles County Department of Health Services are on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sierra Madre paramedics have an advanced scope of practice that includes administration of multiple medications, cardiac monitors, and advanced cardiac life support. Since its inception, Sierra Madre paramedics have responded to over 6,000 calls for emergency medical services. And this paramedic program could not have happened without the continued support of city staff and the City Council. The paramedic program continues to be a great success due to the hard work and dedication of the men and women of the fire department. And we'll make sure that we put this up on the website so others can read about it. But tonight I'm going to go ahead and ask the following to come up. Chief Haydorf, Captain Gregory Christmas, Luis Manjarez, Paul Razzo, Sabrina Soma, Ryan Torncello, Manuel Vasquez, Suzette Odd-Lewis, and Cecilia Hoschet in memoriam. So if you can all come up to the front, we'd love to give you these certificates. We also have a commendation from the County of Los Angeles from Supervisor of 5th District, Catherine Barger, and of course from the City of Sierra Madre. Okay, we're gonna hold different certificates. We'll take a picture and I'll make sure we get these out to all of them. And Chief is in out here too. Hold a couple of these up. So, all right. Then look at that. I happen to have yours there. Thank you for coming. That's great. All right, if you can all squeeze in. City Council, do you want to come on up?
Sure.
There's definitely something for all of us. We're gonna squeeze in. Can we squeeze in?
I'll stand behind this guy right here.
All right, I'm small. I'm just gonna stand kind of in.
You guys are the important ones.
Denise?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Guys from the Little League, you can go. We won't be offended. You don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. Yeah.
I know.
Thanks, everyone.
Again.
Okay.
Then there were two.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar. And I'm going to ask Mr. City Manager if you'd like to introduce the items on the agenda.
Mayor, we have 6 items on consent tonight. A, adoption of Resolution 1736 of the City Council of the City of Sierra Madre approving certain demands. B, expenditures of up to $100,000 of budgeted Friends of the Library funds for professional architectural and appraisal services. C, authorization to purchase 2 new police department patrol vehicles. D, authorization to bid Phase 1 water main replacement and recommendation to issue request for proposals for design of Phase 2 water main replacements. E, second reading of Ordinance 1388, Municipal Code Text Amendment 1703, amending Chapter 1710, Marijuana Cultivation and Dispensaries. And F, consideration of solid waste contract amendment and institution of environmental fee.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I pull B for discussion, or is that too
We can
late?
just have questions, but yeah, since we approved the agenda, I think,
Okay.
but it's still up for question and discussion.
Good.
So if we'd like to start with questions at this time, we can start with consent item A. Do we have any questions on that specifically?
No.
No.
Okay, for item B.
I do have a couple questions or maybe clarification from the city manager. So I just want to understand that this is not approving to do anything with the library, that this is just a proposal for the Friends of the Library to go out and find out what it may cost if we decide to move, that nothing has been finalized?
That's correct, Councilmember Delmar. This is for architectural drawings and appraisal of the two library properties. It's not approval of a move or changes to the current library services or anything else. It's simply staff moving forward with due diligence.
And we're not approving to sell the library property right now. All it is this is information so that we can gather this information, and at some time, once we have all of this, we can open it up for our communities and do some town hall meetings and get the input once we have some different options going forward.
That's correct. We anticipate after we complete the appraisal and the architectural drawings to host several community meetings at multiple locations so people can see what the proposals are. Right now they're just conceptual in nature, and this will make them more solid.
Okay. So just to be clear, on Wednesday there's not going to be a bulldozer bulldozing the library down, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Another question is that, Mr. City Manager, is the amount is $100,000. I can't imagine that for appraisal and for architectural initial drawings that it's going to cost that much. Is there an estimate as to what we're looking at? I know it's not to exceed, but do we have an idea of what the range is for the cost for these two action items?
So it's correct. The amount won't approach anywhere near $100,000. The reason that number is in there is the Friends of the Library, through their own funds, had budgeted $100,000 for services at the current library location. They wanted to rededicate staff to spend up to $100,000 to go towards any item that may assist in due diligence to move the library location. The reason we put $100,000 in there is not that the appraisal will cost that much, but they want us to have the funds available should we need to take additional steps. This doesn't free us from the purchasing policy, so we can't spend the money over $20,000 without coming back to council.
And in terms of process, this is money that the Friends of Library raised. Why does it go through City Council?
They're a nonprofit, but they are budgeted with the library. So council has to approve the expenditures, but this is not ratepayer or taxpayer funds. These are funds that were raised or donated or through book sales that the Friends of the Library have been able to accumulate over time.
Okay, and you also said any amount over $20,000 would still have to come back.
I believe that's the limit here. Maybe 25,000.
25.
25. I was very close.
Thanks. Okay, so any other questions on item B? Questions on item C, D, E, or F? Okay, seeing none, we will open this up to public comment, and I know we had, please come up, Mrs. Estrella that was commenting on that. And anybody else that would like to comment on any item on the consent calendar? Yeah, right after.
Catralia Angus, 405 North Cannon. Since I was a very little girl, I have always considered our library special and magical. My dad would often come there for peace and quiet. To this day, I still enjoy the tranquil charm unique to our library, complete with California live oaks in the parking lot and a lovely garden dedicated in part to Michael Hawks, a direct descendant of city founding father R.A. Hawks. Once upon a time, a poetry group met in the library basement. In Voice of Wisteria Poets Anthology, Sierra Madre, 1967, I was in first grade at the time, by the way, our city librarian, Paul Axe, states, when the Wisteria poets meet there, the basement becomes a small oasis of poetic beauty. Today, we enjoy the best used book sale and other events in that very basement. Indeed, every last inch of the library, from the parking lot to the children's room, is a small oasis of poetic beauty, and must remain as such. The library and its garden must not be separated, for to relocate our library is indeed to destroy the poetic beauty that is integral to the soul of Sierra Madre.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was very poetic.
It's very beautiful.
Anyone else that would like to comment on any of the consent calendar items, please come up, state your name and your address, please.
Hello, my name is Ron Walker. I live at 685 Ramona Avenue, and I just want more clarification on the marijuana ordinance. I read that ordinance today, and I did a lot of study on it today. There's nothing there about using.
I apologize, sir, because the item is not on the consent calendar. It would violate.
It is.
Oh.
It is.
It's right there. It's
I apologize. I'm sorry.
I don't even know what you're apologizing.
It was the second. It's the second reading. My apologies.
Yes. I just want to know more about when my neighbor is smoking marijuana in her backyard, which she does, that odor and aroma and noxious odors come over to my house and affect me. And I've done some study on this today, and I'm looking for work, and that could be over there, and I could have a drug test for a job interview the next day, and I would test positive for marijuana. Now, is that or anything in the ordinances or the proposed laws or the recreational vehicle uses that address the issue of using marijuana and secondhand marijuana smoke? Because it's being inflicted on me whether I wanted it or not. This isn't like somebody who's drunk. He's getting drunk, but the aroma, the odors, the smoke, the toxins, and everything else will affect me. So I'm just curious, is there anything there, and has this ever been addressed?
So we'll see if we can answer that. And at this point, Mr. Sitting Manager.
I'd be happy to meet with you right after council meeting concludes, and we can talk through this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So are there any other public comments on agenda items on the consent calendar? Come on up, sir. And again, if you can state your name and your address.
Yes, I'm Bill Patzert. I'm at 442 Mariposa. I've been a citizen here in Sierra Madre, which I loved for about 30 years. And I'd like to speak a little bit on behalf of the library. You know, ever since I was young, I grew up in libraries, and I attribute what little success I've had in my life to libraries and books. And I'm concerned that we're neglecting and not looking forward concerning the library. You know, we've had a library here since 1887, and I think the present structure dates back to 1955. And for me, one of the great things about Sierra Madre is that library. It serves everything. I love to go in there and see the kids. The staff there at the library does a tremendous job, all the way up to senior citizens. And I'm just going to make a suggestion here, is that I know one of the things that makes Sierra Madre famous is that the citizens don't like to pay taxes. They're tight with their money. But, you know, I figured that it would take about $4 million to totally renovate and maybe even tear down the old library and build a new modern library for the 21st century with full internet services that would really serve the entire community. Now, so there are about 4,000 households in Sierra Madre. So you take 4,000 households, divide it into $4 million, that's about $1,000 a household. You spread that over 5 years, that's $200 a year. Well, I save more than $200 a year just with the books that I check out of that library. And so I'm just making a suggestion here to the City Council and perhaps to my fellow citizens, is that maybe it's time to break the cycle here and for the citizens of Sierra Madre to dig a little deep into their pockets. $1,000 a household is not that much when we consider a new library would last us a half a century. And so I don't know exactly how we go about this, all right? and how we assess that kind of money. But it doesn't seem like much to me when you weigh it against all the good that that library has done for the past century and will do in the new century. So I don't know how we take it from here. But let's think, what I'm suggesting, let's think big. I know a lot of communities have built new libraries. Encinitas, Carlsbad, a lot of little communities, right? Because, you know, if we don't stand for the library, what do we stand for here in Sierra Madre? We don't want to move it into some temporary facility and have the present facility turn into a bunch of condos. That would not be right, right? Even though real estate is important. And so, you know, that's just a suggestion on my part. I don't know how we move it forward before we make any definite decisions about the future of the library. But, you know, the last thing I would say is I just want to commend the staff at the library. Those people are terrific. I see them working with the kids, the seniors, you know. So I love that library. So let's see if we can not only save the present library, but let's think about building a new modern library for the 21st century.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just briefly answer one part of that, is that there are going to be several opportunities to provide some of that feedback as we move forward, so we'll make sure we get that information out to the community.
And those are all the options that we're exploring, so thank you. And we'll hope to see you at the community meeting. Bill, I have your name and your address.
Okay, so any other public comment on consent items? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring that back for discussion.
Only thing I would like to just really stress again, as we just heard from our audience, is that we are going to be exploring all the different options to preserve our library services, and I'm okay with what we have on the agenda tonight.
And I'll just say very quickly on the marijuana ordinance, to answer your question, you know, very quickly and simply, it does not directly address the secondhand smoke issue. Well, and the city manager can address that, or the chief of police, but there's nuisance laws that usually deal with that type of thing that don't necessarily have to fall within a marijuana ordinance. So, but that's a longer conversation. But I did want to get you an answer. This ordinance does not, and state law doesn't, on the marijuana issue, does not directly address secondhand smoke. So.
Thank you, Councilmember.
And I just wanted to say that, to reiterate what my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Denise said, is that this library issue is just beginning. We have a lot of ideas out there, a lot of options, and for us to okay the expenditure of these funds that we're getting, not from the taxpayers, but from the Friends of the Library, I think is simply a prudent move at this time, so we can get better data to figure out what we're going to do later on, probably in the fall when we probably get to the decision making. So those of you who are here tonight commenting on that, and those who are watching at home, I do hope that you will take us up on these public opportunities to comment on this issue, and you'll just be watching city agendas. You'll see them advertised, you'll see the locations and times and dates, and I just hope we can get maximum input so we can get a decision that reflects the will of the community.
Thanks.
And with that, I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, that passes general consensus. The next action item is a discussion item, and Mr. City Manager.
We'll let Director Reynoso
Thank
handle
you.
this matter.
Director Reynoso.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Tonight, we seek City Council award an emergency construction contract to Dora Construction in the amount not to exceed $130,000 for the emergency replacement of 680 feet of water main on Canyon Crest between Skyland and Orange Drive. This is a 680-foot section of water main that over the past year has had over 50 water leaks. In late June, the last week of June, we had one water leak surface on the hillside. About a week later, we had a second water leak surface on the hillside, sending water and mud flow to the properties below. After this leak, we had no choice but to take this water main out of service install a temporary water main above ground, and that is the reason why we seek an emergency construction contract. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director Reynoso.
Just one question. So we're piggybacking off of another bid we got to get an idea of the bid level we would get if we went out to bid, correct?
Correct.
And this is legal under our current ordinances, right? Okay. Because typically we want to do is we want to try to get the best bid, but I was taking a look at the last time we went out, and these guys came in lower than everyone else. And we have done business with them before. So it's your view that this is probably a good price?
Correct.
And this isn't a maintenance, this is an emergency issue.
This is an emergency issue.
It's an emergency issue.
Our staff's concern on the last main break was that driving equipment over that over that street might collapse the street, and that's another concern that we had. We're afraid of further hillside erosion and possibly losing the street. This water main was number 3 on the priority list.
Okay.
Number 1 and number 2 had already been completed, so this is the highest.
The next one.
The highest priority water main.
How long will it take to make the repair?
The contractor's ready to start as soon as possible. I estimate it'll take no more than 3 weeks to complete the project.
One question I have, and it's more for some general background as to the nature of the emergency. One of the findings that we have to make per state law in order to go down this route is, and it has to be supported by substantial evidence, is that the emergency will not permit a delay resulting from a competitive solicitation for bids, and that the action is necessary to respond to the emergency. So, and per state law, we have to reflect in the minutes why there is substantial evidence. So can you just, and hopefully it'll be reflected in, in this meeting on the TV and also in our minutes, but what exactly what is the emergency that will not permit a delay to get solicitation of bids?
If we go through our regular bid process, we would have to go to design plans. That would take we'd have to go to bid for that. That could take up to 2 months. Then we would have to go to bid again to award the contract for the mainline replacements, which would take possibly another 2 to 3 months. So we can extend this project out anywhere between 4 to 6 months. In the meantime, we have a temporary water main above ground that's susceptible to being struck by cars, and it's an eyesore for our residents that have to drive over it every day. The last time we had a temporary water line installed, it was struck by a vehicle, causing leaks, and again, it's on a hillside. If that temporary water main were to be left in place for that long and we had a failure, it could potentially cause the same type of concerns that the water main in the ground is causing.
Thank you.
Mayor, just for the viewing public at home, I know council read the report. In the past 12 months, it's had 50 leaks on a 680-foot section. Installing an above-ground main is an extraordinary step for a city that operates a water utility. The last main, as Director Reynoso said, or the last leak, didn't surface on the road. It surfaced on the side of the hill. So a mudslide or losing the road entirely is a real possibility.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Director Reynoso? Okay, thank you, sir. We'll open this up for public comment. If anyone would like to comment on the Canyon Crest emergency water main replacement. Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to City Council for discussion and or approval.
I would move for approval, and I don't know if this is going to be a formal resolution, but whatever document that effectuates this, just so it reflect that there is substantial evidence that a delay resulting from a competitive solicitation of bids would be a problem, considering the emergency that's before us and what we heard. Does it have to be a resolution, Madam City Attorney, or is it just?
It does not. It can be reflected in the minute
Okay.
order, just that the council made findings based on the questions asked and answered by your staff, explaining the nature of the emergency and the potential for serious property damage if this is not taken care of right away, and certainly you would not appear to have the luxury of waiting 4 to 6 months.
And we did get the confirmation that they're ready to start any day.
So we can reflect that in the minutes, and that should be ample coverage for us. Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, that also passes with general consensus. With that, are there any other future items for future agendas?
Mayor, Councilmember Capocha has requested that staff schedule in September a financial hardship waiver for utility bills. And if council is open to that, staff is happy to bring that forward.
Fine. That's fine.
And then also if we find that we need to discuss more of the water penalties, we'll probably do that with the water rates.
Right.
I just want to make sure that the residents are heard if they do not get resolution from tonight.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I'll move for dismissal. Adjournment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we are dark the next couple of weeks, so we'll see everybody back in September, right?
Great. Thank you.